Hello guys, I'm Nagendra Sarma, the author of Dark Side of the Coin, and I'm here to review the book The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. So let me tell you one thing first. So when I began the book, I was very interested, of course. So after getting through like some kind of middle of it or something, there was a problem with the book. The problem with the book was, or still is, this is not a book but an introspection of our own lives. This is what I can say. This is more like an introspection. When I am sitting here for a review, when I got ready for a review, I don't know if I am reviewing a book or if I am introspecting my own life. So I'm going to tell you one thing. Julian Barnes has created something so effective. It has pushed me to the limits where I could go and remember the things I had done. So many people said, or I have read in a handful of review articles and something, and I have gone through this, the reason why this got 2011 Man Booker Prize, and everything was talking about the way Julian Barnes has brought out the workings of a memory in an older person. But when I was going through this, more than the memories that Julian Barnes has evoked of Tony Webster, he has evoked my own memories. So now I'll tell you this. The book is about a guy, that's it, very simple. A very simple guy who lets life happen to himself. Did you get it? There's a lot of difference. So when we read a book, 98% of the books, what happens is 98% of the books are about guys, girls, who make life. But this is one of those rare books which talks about one person to whom life happens. It is something like J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. The life happens to this person. So what he does is, he takes the life as it is and he reflects upon it. So he says, something bad has happened. I feel sad. Okay, he feels sad. What is he going to do about it? He's not going to do anything about it. Or he has done something about it in his past, but he is not able to do it any longer. He talks about, I think this book talks about the differences of childhood and adulthood. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you this. Before taking there, I'll talk about one very important and interesting part of this book. The brevity of this book. Just look at this book. So short. 150 pages, and in the 150th page there are only 4 lines or 5 lines, so we don't count that, and there are some kind of blank pages in between, so it would make it hardly 140 pages read. But the book contains one complete life of an educated and a very rational and a very practical person. He starts when he was in the school, this Tony Webster Anthony. So, and it ends when he is nearly about his 70s or something. The brevity is so well defined or well refined that it would be not an exaggeration if we take one word out of this book. The book would not make any sense. It is so carefully constructed. It is like, the book is like some kind of a literary nanotechnology. You take the book, you drop it in a tub of water. There would be no bubbles coming out, because there is no space for water to get in for bubbles to come out. It is so tightly packed. It is so well written. So now, such kind of a wonderful book. I'm going to explain you one part. So all his childhood in the school, he talks about 2 to 3 incidents where his character and the characters of his friends are well defined. And after that he goes to high school and college, where his love life and his relationship with different women is well established, and his thinking view of different things is well established. And then when we get to know what kind of a person this man is, what he does is, he some kind of fast forwards his life. Fast forwarding is really fast. It is so fast that in one particular paragraph he grows old, he gets married, children are born, he gets divorced, his wife and he remains friends. all these things happen, he gets retired and he gets old. Just in one paragraph, half of his life is done. And still, it makes sense. And another thing is, the differences he marked between some kind of childhood and, I don't know, what is this, oldhood? I don't know what the word exactly is. So in the childhood, there is a lot of philosophy that is spoken. There is a lot of strife to understand what life is. There is a lot of struggle to get into life, to leave the walls of schools, to leave the care of parents, and to go into life and to make out an adventure. And there is a lot of philosophy on tongue. But when he grows old, words grow thinner. The strife to do something great is lessened. The spirit of adventure is some kind of ruffled down. And he becomes a practical person. And he says, my favorite piece of the book, he says this: what is the difference between being young and being old? He says this: when you are at 20, you can imagine yourself standing at 40 and looking back at you. It feels good, you know what you are going to do. If you are at your 40, you can imagine yourself being at 60 and looking back at you. It's good. You understand what is going to happen. You understand what is the change you are going to undergo in life. Life is inspiring. But when you are at your 60, then is when the real change happens. You don't know what is going to happen. There is no future self of you standing there and looking back at you. Terrifying. All of a sudden, life becomes terrifying. And then memories reel back. So, what is it that touched me so much? It is remorse. A very well defined word. In this book, remorse is a word that is very well defined. I am going to tell you. He talks about three things. First thing is shame. Second thing is guilt. Third thing is remorse. He says, if you are feeling ashamed, that's okay. You can tell it to yourself. If you have some kind of guilt, you can tell it to others. You can make amends with others. If you feel remorse, it means you have committed a mistake which cannot be undone and which is not in your hands to apologize for. That is remorse. What if life comes back and knocks us? I never thought of it. When I think of my own life, I always think I'm all perfect. I'm the gentleman. They are something odd or something odd happening. But what if after 40 years you understand the odd thing has happened to you and not to them? How would it feel? What would you do? What are the feelings the remorse evokes? This book talks about.